Night City, the setting for CD Projekt Red's latest action RPG, Cyberpunk 2077. One of the most anticipated games to be released, turned out to be one of the most controversial game releases of all time. With threats of legal action from investors, Sony removing the game from their PlayStation Store, many unhappy players, and an official apology issued from CDPR's joint founder.
We never ever intended for anything like this to happen.
This will no doubt be a game that is remembered for a long time. So the question then,
is it really that bad? I'm sure you already know about the bugs and glitches, but that's not unique to this title. That happens on all new releases on some level or another. So then, are they destroying the gameplay? Well, for some players, yes. Many people have reported game-breaking bugs and others having complete system crashes. But honestly, in my experience, at least with the advent of the latest hotfix, all I've come across is some pretty silly stuff that's worth having a laugh at.
Nothing there to laugh about.
Well, maybe not, because it's not simply an issue with a bit of odd-behaving software code or game crashes. There's more to it. It's about the gaming experience as a whole, which isn't terrible, at least in my opinion. It has an engaging storyline with some interesting and very memorable characters. The setting is a vibrant and well-designed world which gives you a definite futuristic feel, but without feeling cold or unrelatable like many other portrayals of the future tend to do. Instead, it's a bizarre but familiar feeling city.
And there's even a place where PC gamers can hang out.
You're a dick.
True. So what's the big deal? Well, just like that Muppets dress sense, the game has a lot of things missing.
If you've been following the trailers and demos, you'll know the game was first announced way back in May of 2012, with the teaser trailer following at the beginning of 2013, which looks great and there's definitely something in there that grabs your attention. Then at E3 in 2018 came the official world premiere trailer for Cyberpunk 2077. It looked awesome. Although, as it turned out, there wasn't any actual gameplay footage, only what we can assume to be cutscenes taken from the game. After all, they did point out that it was game engine footage, so it still left a lot to our imagination, but definitely left us wanting. Then a few months later we got a gameplay reveal in the form of a 48-minute guided playthrough.
Before we start, a small but important disclaimer. The gameplay you're about to see is from a work-in-progress version of the game. Everything you see is potentially subject to change.
And change it did. Essentially, what it shows is a game featuring random interactions, non-linear storylines, and multiple gameplay features. It's fair to assume that some of the things you'll see in a demo won't be in the final release. But in this case, there are a lot of things in this playthrough that haven't carried over, and not just small things either. I won't go through the whole 48-minute playthrough, but if you haven't seen it, I do recommend you go ahead and watch it for yourself. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. Honestly, it feels like we got the demo and the final game is right here in this gameplay reveal. That's how much of a difference myself and many others feel there is. Which has led to many people to speculate that the developers may have faked the gameplay demo.
Sure, maybe.
I won't speculate about forgery, but I'll simply say with so much being shown here that isn't in the final game, this is why it isn't what I was expecting, and the same is true for a lot of people. At least, most of the people who are complaining about the game. Because it's important to note that not everybody is complaining, console gamers included. Not everyone is suffering with major issues on base PS4s or Xbox Ones, at least after the hotfixes and patches landed, which at the time of this video is version 1.11. Yes, it is nerfed in comparison to the PC version of the game, and the bugs are present, but the reviews, as you can see here, have a clear trend of satisfied buyers. The same is true when I speak to friends who are playing on last generation consoles.
Approved.
How can that be then if there's so much controversy surrounding the game's release? Well, in spite of all the issues with the game and the absence of some features that you would expect to be in a game of this type, it still manages to be a very engaging experience. If you forget about the missing features from the demo and just accept the game for what it is, then what is wrong with Cyberpunk?
Check this out.
The bugs are something that you'll come across frequently, and even though they can be funny, they may eventually make you feel disenfranchised with the whole experience. As you can see here, the intelligence level of the NPCs can only be described at best as absolutely stupid. And the wanted system is obviously a last-minute implementation. Cyberpunk's equivalent of paramedics, the trauma team, are obviously at the minute just placeholders. And somehow I get a feeling that whoever worked on these background details is a massive fan of the 1980s. Okay, look, I get it. Some of you may feel that I'm being overcritical of something that is just a background detail, but with the cost of large screen TVs continually falling and screen resolutions increasing, background details like this are becoming more and more noticeable, especially when you consider that this is one of the first AAA titles to be released on a new generation of gaming consoles that both support up to 8K resolution. There are other things, but you get the point. The game has problems. Or more accurately, it simply isn't finished. But it's not all bad. I have faith that the announced patches will eventually fix a lot of this, and the free DLC is definitely something to look forward to. And you can tell that a lot of work has gone into this game. The car models are ridiculously detailed, the setting is incredibly intricate, and the visuals are simply stunning, on PC at least. So does it then manage to be a success story? No, not at the minute. It's all well and good taking the game for what it is and celebrating its good points, but when you can see that it clearly isn't finished, it's a bit of a disappointment. Especially when it comes from a development team that we all know can deliver an award-winning gaming experience.
Damn, maybe they missed something.
If they would have just stuck to what they said about only releasing when it was ready, I have no doubt it would have set the standard for games on the new generation of consoles. But clearly, it wasn't.
What do you guys think about the game? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinions. And if you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate it if you hit that like button. And maybe I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching.